Although this is not going to make up the bulk of today's video, I thought I would quickly address the rumours that Lashana Lynch is going to be introduced as the new 007 in the next James Bond movie, the first black female 007. As I thought he had retired at the end of Spectre, I don't really care. That's it really. Hell, I didn't even think this James Bond movie was going to happen after Daniel Craig's scathing comments about the film franchise. But here we are. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Brian Lindy for sending me the Blue Zoidberg and Cthulhu slippers. That was very generous. They are very comfortable and Blue Zoidberg looks amazing. I've wanted him for years. And Syria De Flora for the box of chocolates. Thank you. Very kind and generous people doing these things. Puts a big smile on my face. Noel Gallagher. He's the main subject of today's video. The equally outspoken and brash brother to Liam Gallagher. He is quite mouthy, and their spat, their fallout, their arguments are borderline legend. Now, he has gotten himself into a little bit of a spat with somebody else. Not his brother for once, although that is ongoing, but it's on the back burner temporarily, while he focuses his attentions on Lewis Capaldi. Who is Lewis Capaldi, you say? I have no idea, but I do know that during a spat with Lewis Capaldi, he called Scotland a third world country, which I'm sure many people here can have their own opinions about, because honestly, I don't care. I've never been, so I don't want to give too much of an opinion past what I've heard Frankie Boyle say. I think he himself has called it a war zone. Third world country possibly. Like every home had been pebble dashed in cellulite, and they want independence when they look like their homes are worse than the peasantry of England. That's adorable. As a direct response to what Noel Gallagher has said about Scotland, Irn Bru, one of those fancy soft drink companies that I'm not overly fond of myself, but a lot of people really like. The taste is quite, as far as I remember, quite something, but it's not for me. They have responded by cancelling Noel Gallagher. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's amusing nonetheless. For someone who lives, or lived, or comes from the north of England, I doubt he's going to be doing many gigs in Scotland without having bottles of Irn Bru thrown at him now. Now, after doing a little digging, I found out that the term cancelling was popularised by a comedian called Lilly to mark a fall from grace by public figures. I believe we call it the hashtag Noel Gallagher's over party. I think that's the equivalent for the woke people. The spat with Lewis Capaldi was started when Gallagher claimed during an interview on Radio X that he had never heard of Lewis Capaldi, which led to, and I'm going to play the clip of it, Lewis Capaldi playing a clip and then imitating Gallagher at Glastonbury. This might get me copyright claimed. If it does, there won't be a clip. If there is, no claim. Enjoy.
There are songs, yeah, but not recently. Music is
Okay, so the BBC are absolute wank, which is why I've had to remove this audio and flip the video where you see it now. Basically, Capaldi comes on stage dressed as Oasis and throws the crap away with a big love heart in the middle of a t-shirt to the song Here Comes the Money, Shane O'Mac. In a continuation of their spat, although if anything it's more of a say stupid things, get mocked for it, Noel Gallagher said to the magazine Variety, "Fuck Chewbacca, he should enjoy his 15 minutes. The greatest day of his life came when I slagged him off or called him an idiot. He's just thinking, wow." Capaldi decided to continue his mocking responses by editing his Twitter icon to have his face imposed on Chewbacca and change the name on the site to Chewis Capaldi. This is what happens when somebody who is not, let's say, internet savvy or woke enough meets a young person who has been exposed to the internet for quite a long time. Yeah, didn't end well, really. Some of the tweets that have cropped up in response to this will include comedian Rab Florence declaring victory for Scotland by tweeting out Lewis Capaldi versus Noel Gallagher is the no contest domination that is Scotland versus England patter war made flesh. Probably best not to include the English over the Scots. history is against you after all. Others saying, I've lived in England and I was born in Wales. There is no doubt in my mind that the Scottish NHS and Scottish education is streets ahead of Wales and England. Noel Gallagher doesn't know what he is talking about. Yes, but if you're going to pick at that one, I should point out to you, to pay for that quality NHS, Scotland has had to raise taxes to a point where Scots are leaving Scotland because the tax is cheaper in England. It's a very hard balancing game to keep a quality national health service without fleecing your citizens of what little money they have. Others pointing out that if Noel intends to perform at Glasgow, this is how it'll go down. Some doing the infamous, I'll just throw my Oasis albums in the bin. Had I owned any in the first place, you probably do. Don't lie to yourself. I don't, but that's because I've got musical taste. Death to all but metal. Some have rightly pointed out this is basically just an old man trying to fight young people because it is that infamous newer artist appears, older artist has no idea who they are, or claims to have no idea who they are, cause reasons. Now I'm going to show you here a bunch of tweets. As you can see, Noel Gallagher kinda got flayed. Hell, even Noel Gallagher's brother decided to weigh in on him cause he could. And I would show you what he said, but the National Scot, the article where I was citing those tweets from, has a limit to the number of times you can view that article per day, meaning I was unable to view the article and show you what they said, because to do so would cost me £1.74 a week for the privilege of looking at a website that up until today I had never heard of. Well, I'm not going to give you additional views or possible subscribers, so I just archived your article, the one I was able to access, as my free viewing limitation. Yay. Support independent Scottish journalism. Quality. As far as Irn Bru cancelling or indicating a fall from grace for Noel goes, not really. There are many arguments based on the quality of living, life expectancy and quality of education in Scotland that would indicate Scotland is not as great as people think. The fact that they are subsidised so heavily by the UK government, including prescriptions, education, and of course the money they receive for their NHS, should surely be a warning sign that Scotland is not as independent as you would like it to be, nor as great as you think it might be. That's not to say Scotland isn't doing great, it is of course. However, one must respect it only doing as well as it is because of the money it receives elsewhere, as a member of the United Kingdom. As three final things totally separate from this subject, which is, I think, quite amusing. There's a new creepypasta called The Trap. It's 52 minutes up on Moisky Reads, link below. I just released a video on Boris Johnson making sausages over on the Moisky Live channel, and I'm trying to grow my Twitch channel, so if you're at all interested, please consider following me over there. Link to all three in the description below. So I hope you'll have a lovely, lovely Monday, and thank you all for listening.
5 months ago, I made a video explaining why the BBC's economic model guarantees that it will continue to make bad calls financially. But recently, the BBC's obvious liberal elite bias has become overwhelming, to the point where it is becoming an active hindrance to watching pretty much anything at all, and especially news coverage.
I think that we've reached peak wank.